Hi, my name's Claire, this is Claire's Footsteps, and today I am in Tromsø, Norway. So it is February, so it's very much still winter in Tromsø, and I just landed here yesterday as part of a wider trip that I'm doing around Norway to check out what the city is like in the winter. We are coming here for the Sami National Week celebration. Today is the Reindeer Racing Championship, which takes place a bit later on. We actually arrived here yesterday, a little bit hectic, so I didn't get a chance to pick up the camera. So let me rewind back a bit. So we arrived in Tromsø at around 2 PM after taking a flight from Bergen with Widerøe. We have landed in the Arctic. It's very cold. Widerøe operates flights from Bergen to lots of cities around Norway, including Tromsø, and they also have a connection from Bergen to London Heathrow and Aberdeen in the UK. So they are a good airline to fly with to get you to these more regional places in Norway. Oh, it's a bit icy here, wondering. But one thing that you should know about Tromsø is it's not actually that cold because of the Gulf Stream and the fact that it's by the coast. It's actually raining at the moment in February, so it's not a crazily cold city. When you look at other cities on the same latitude, they are a lot colder. We were picked up at the airport and then we took a transfer to Tromsø city centre. We were staying at the Thon Hotel Tromsø, which was a really nice cosy hotel that did an excellent buffet breakfast. Today we went over to the Arctic Cathedral, so I'll just show you a little bit of that now. Actually, first we went to the Arctic market, and this was here as part of the Sami National Week. So there was all sorts of Sami and Norwegian goods that you could purchase here. A lot of things involving reindeer, but some other stuff as well. We had a little walk around the water and I thought it was really, really pretty. Just a nice harbour, and it just had a really nice vibe. Similar vibes to Reykjavik, if you've ever been there. To get to the Arctic Cathedral, you have to cross the Tromsø Bridge, which in the winter is an experience in itself. This bridge is over 1 kilometre long and it takes about 15 minutes to walk across. Of course, if you don't want to walk, there are also buses that go backwards and forwards across the bridge, and taxis are available too. Despite the name, the Arctic Cathedral isn't actually a cathedral at all, but it's a very grand church. The cathedral was created in 1965 by architect Jan Ing Hovig. He wanted to build a church that represented the spikes of light that fell on Tromsø at certain times of the year. And you can see this in the Arctic Cathedral's unique jagged triangular appearance. So Hovig built the church with huge windows. This let in maximum light in the winter months, but in the summertime, when Tromsø is bright for up to 24 hours a day, people would wear sunglasses in church. Apparently, this led to the churchgoers falling asleep behind their glasses. The priest didn't like this, so he ordered a stained glass window, and this is the largest stained glass window in Europe. After this, we went back over to the other side of Tromsø and we went to the Polar Museum. This was a great museum about life in the Arctic Norway in particular, but also the Arctic in general, and how people survive there, what they eat, their activities, how they stay warm, how they deal with the fluctuations in light throughout the year. And then we went northern lights chasing. We weren't so lucky with this. We did see them very briefly, and to be honest, we did get a couple of photos where you can see them, but with the naked eye you couldn't see that much. However, we really enjoyed the trip. I loved just driving through the Arctic countryside. It was really interesting, and we did actually make it over the border to Finland, which is a new country for me, and considering we spent about an hour there, we had some hot chocolate, we made a campfire, I'm counting it as a new country. So I've actually ticked off 2 new countries in this trip, which is quite exciting. So the next day it was reindeer racing time, but I'll go into that in a minute. We had a bit of free time in the morning, so I got up early to see a bit more of the city. It's such a fun city to walk around. This is the Tromsø Cathedral, which isn't quite as renowned as the Arctic Cathedral, but still worth checking out. I then went to the Troll Museum. Norway has lots of myths and legends surrounding it, and some of those are about trolls. So this was quite fascinating to learn about. Alright, so I can't remember how much I explained, but basically it is Sami National Week, and Sami are the indigenous people of northern Norway, Finland, Sweden and part of Russia. So it is their National Week this week, where we're celebrating everything to do with their culture and history and identity. And one of those things is reindeer racing. So these are the Norwegian Reindeer Racing Championships. They're racing along the main street of Tromsø. It's only about 200 meters, I think. So not too far, and they're going very, very fast. They're doing it in about 17 seconds. They're currently in the knockout stages. So there are about 8 people in the knockout stages, and then they're going into the semi-finals and then the finals. So someone will be crowned the Reindeer Racing Champion of Tromsø 2023. Obviously a very, very unique cultural sport. It can only happen in certain places in the world where there's lots of snow, but it's very interesting to observe. It is fairly similar to watching a running race. It's just there's reindeer and people are following them on skis. So I'll show you some footage of the reindeer racing now. We have been invited to take part in a snowshoe race, but the other competitors are all people who snowshoe as a hobby. So somehow I don't think I'm going to be that good at it, and I may spare myself the embarrassment, but I'm just going to go and confirm whether or not we will be doing that.
Which is 60 meters long. The reindeer starts from the tube of 33. Men det som skjer I juniorklassen, det skal andre så det pause, så kjører de 2 andre etter pausen. Den lista den må dere ta fatt. De her som der borte, så tar vi tak. I didn't want to grab the reindeer.
Jesus, number 3.
And number 4. Oh wow, that was...
Han snart I mål.
Woohoo! You got it? Yeah. Woohoo! Alright, I did actually head off slightly before the reindeer racing finished, because I do need to put on another extra layer and some dry socks. My socks have got very wet. I did have waterproof boots, but they've lost their waterproofness. So that is one thing, if you're coming to Tromsø or anywhere in Norway really in winter, you do need waterproof boots. Back in the wall. Alright, I've had a little bit of a rest, and now I think I'm going to walk down to Polaria, which is a Arctic wildlife or marine life research institute, where they have seals and they do lots of research into the different animals in the sea around Tromsø. So I think I'm just going to go check that out very quickly. It does close at 4 and it's like 3:20, so I'm not going to have very long there, but at least I'll be able to get a feel for the place, so I can mention it in any articles I write. And then probably head back here for another little rest, and then we're going out all evening for a Sami experience, which I'll explain a bit more about later.
That's something else.
You couldn't hear me at all in this clip, the wind was so strong, but I was just explaining that we were at the Sami Camp, and this is where they live and where they keep their reindeer, and we were just going to see the reindeer, feed them a little bit, and then we were going into the hut to talk about Sami culture, have some food and listen to some traditional singing as well. And then we'll go back into the Sami hut and have a nice dinner and hear some about their culture and traditions, etc. So I'm just gonna walk over there now. This was a little bit overwhelming. There were a lot of reindeer in this pen, and they know that any tourists walking in holding buckets have food. They were gentle, but they were very assertive. If they saw that people had food, they knew that they wanted it and they would get it. So it was a bit overwhelming with, I think it was 300 of them all at once. But it was very interesting just to see them, see how they acted, and just learn a little bit more about them as well. So after we saw the reindeer, we went into the traditional Sami lavvu, and we learned all sorts of fun facts about these creatures. For instance, did you know that reindeer eyes are reflective? Female reindeer are the only type of deer that have antlers, and there are 5 main reindeer predators which the Sami people have to contend with throughout the year. We also learnt about Sami weddings and their traditions and their culture, which was really enriching, and it was really nice to learn to round off our time in Norway. Do check out my blog posts in the description for more information about all this. We finished our time in Tromsø the next day by going to this floating sauna and then taking a dip in the seawater. It was 2 degrees at the time and it was absolutely freezing, but it was good fun. I wish I had a bit better footage of this. This was just on my GoPro and there wasn't any light or anything. This was, I don't know, this was about 7 in the morning. So it was very dark and you can't really see very well, but I would definitely recommend this in Tromsø. It was so invigorating and it really set myself up for the day. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it's been interesting. Tromsø is one of my favourite cities in Europe now, and I would wholeheartedly recommend anyone visit. So please do like and subscribe if you've enjoyed. See you next time.